Thank you for listening to this podcast from TRE, Talk Radio Europe, your voice in Spain and around the world. For more information, please visit tre.radio.
TRE in the afternoon. Presented by Hannah Murray.
Good afternoon. It's just coming up to 5:10. You are listening to Women Talk. With me in the studio today is Nikki Broom, Mary Harbo and Sandra Mole. Hello.
Hi there.
Hello. Thank you for coming in. Those of you listening at home, if you want to get involved, you can. Here's how.
To contact TRE, please call 952 78 4000. Email studio@tre.radio. Send us a WhatsApp on +34 645 99 67 95.
What a beautiful day. It's a wonderful life.
We'll start with coffee. Sounds like a sensible place to start. This article says the UK is the home of instant coffee, with most Britons choosing convenience over a more cultivated cup. 54% of us opt for the quick form of the hot drink instead of filter, cafetiere or pod coffee. So do you drink coffee? And if so, what sort? Are you fussy with your coffee? Do you have a particular way of doing it?
I am.
Every day. Yeah, I drink coffee every day.
So how do you?
I live in the UK, obviously. But
yeah.
But I every day get up, live in London, go for a walk, go to the same coffee shop every single day and get a coffee. It's like almost like a ritual now.
Yeah.
And I don't drink coffee at home. I only
you never have coffee at home.
No, so
okay.
I get a coffee, go for a walk along the river. And it's basically, everybody that knows me in London knows that's exactly what I do every single day. Every single morning I'm in the same place.
Yeah.
Same coffee shop, they know me, I always get the same drink. So I don't actually ever drink it at home. But all my friends in London that drink it at home all have those fancy machines and
right.
They don't drink instant coffee.
Okay. Mary?
I think it depends what sort of coffee you like. If you like it really strong, I mean, I don't like milk, so I don't want any of the sort of milky things in it.
Yeah.
But I'm really fussy about the container it comes in because it's black. I really don't like a big flat cup, like a bowl of
too big.
Simmering black liquid. I can understand if you've got a sort of froth going on top and you've got hearts and a nice little feather or something drawn into it. But if you take it black, it's just not nice. I like a mug, a tall mug, black coffee, very, very nice. Not too strong. And I think actually that the British instant coffee or the instant coffee that's available in the UK is much better than in many other countries, which is perhaps why more British people go for instant. But personally,
is yours instant or is it from a cafeteria?
I like filter coffee.
Filter coffee.
Okay.
Filter coffee would be nice. I would have a cafe americano with some agua caliente apart, so it would be like that.
Sandra?
Can't believe how similar we are, Mary.
Really? That's nice.
I do like a tall cup of coffee and with slimmer, because if it's too wide, then it cools off too quickly, and I really like my coffee hot.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But it also depends on the mood. If I have instant, and it is instant strong, it's because I want something longer and more refreshing. Whereas when I use my pods, that's a smaller cup, and it gives me more of a boost. More energy than that.
There was a story in the... Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
There's a story in the paper I read just a couple of days ago, I think it was. It might have even been more recently, about this new coffee that comes in a tube.
Yes, we spoke about it last week.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
You can spread it on toast.
Yes. I put the article in my handbag because I thought I wanted to buy that. I haven't yet, but...
Is it like camp coffee? The bubbles?
No, it's something,
You have it on toast. Spread it on, But
like
if you...
Nutella, but coffee.
Yeah, or you can have it in a cup and drink it as a cup of coffee. But I thought I'd love to try that as a spread because I love coffee flavour.
Yeah.
I'd have coffee ice cream. I'd love a coffee cake. So I thought, on toast that sounds delicious.
I think it sounds great.
It's crazy. I love coffee and I love drinking it, but I cannot abide it in cakes or anything else. Not at all.
Isn't that interesting?
I think one of the reasons why instant coffee is more popular in England is because it's quite similar to the tea making system. You put something in a pot and pour on top.
Yeah.
So
it's
easy.
Yeah.
I have found the perfect instant coffee in Spain, and we love it, and it's our favourite, and it's Mercadona's Own.
Oh, yes.
Really nice, better than all the other expensive brands.
Mary's writing it down.
Yeah, it's my favourite. It comes in a plastic thing, and it's got a gold.
Yeah, it looks like
top.
a small gold blend.
Yes, it does very much look like a gold blend.
Yeah, and you can get other coffee from other places.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Lots of people have Nespresso machines here because everybody has that.
And we had one. We had one, and then we
quite
just
popular here.
Yeah. We had one and got different pods for different things. It was quite fun. But then we were trying to be a bit more environmentally friendly, so we were a bit more aware of all that.
I read something about people being concerned about the container and the aluminium and how good that was for us as well. So I'm not sure.
Yeah,
well, nothing's ever good for us.
It's true. It's unbelievable. Once you start going down that route, I was PJ and I were talking about this the other day. I remember I went through a phase 8 years ago. I thought, right, I'm just gonna juice. I was gonna do a juice for a couple of days, juice diet, and people went, oh, juice is really bad for you. It's full of sugar, and there's hidden sugars in fruit juice. It's really bad for you. And I thought, oh, for goodness sake, people always think of something. I know juice isn't amazing, but at the same time, it's better than having a Mars bar for breakfast. Not that that's what I was doing before, but
I think they always find something though, don't they? There's always bad. It's always in the press. It's good, and it's not good. Then it's do this, and don't do it. Just in moderation.
There's different things. There's so many different things we can do to look after our health. The reality of doing absolutely all of it, not having processed food, not having any sugar, not having any red meat, not having any alcohol, all these different things that potentially we can do that are better for us. The likelihood of not doing any of it at the same time, I'm not sure.
Not having any life.
Yes, quite. Yeah, it's been really miserable, but looking fabulous. Okay. This is to do, I don't want to shame anyone, but this is to do with throwing out food and throwing out fruit and vegetables and things. Apparently, we as a society are throwing away 3.2 billion bananas every year, or 114 per household. More than half of Britons, sorry, this is Britain, not around the world, more than half of Britons admit they are ashamed by how much fresh fruit and veg they bin, with an average of 9 items a week getting discarded at a cost of £468 a year. Bananas are the most common. Tomatoes and potatoes are not far behind, an average of 99 each.
Well, they can't be that embarrassed, can they?
I know, they're telling people about it, yeah.
I think the worst one for me at home is, it's got to be an avocado. I mean, they're like rock, mush.
It's really difficult to get them.
I'm going to have that no, tomorrow. And you go, today's the day. And it's like an absolute
brown
mess. And they trick you. Because they're literally solid, and then you're like, that's just not fair. And then it has to go.
Don't give you any time.
There's no warning. It just it ripes in a very bizarre way.
You have to press the top, right at the top, and if that's not the round, the outside, but the top.
And also, if you take the
knobbly bit off,
off the top. If it's green, it's not ready. If it's brown, it's ready.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's different. Throwing that out is because it's virtually inedible when it goes like mush.
Yeah.
But what people are doing, throwing out bananas, it's because the skin has gone slightly tarnished, slightly brown. The fresh inside is still fine, but no one bothers to find out by peeling it.
Also, if they go a bit brown and mushy, but you can chuck a banana in a smoothie.
Definitely, that's what I was going to say.
With yogurt and other fruit, and it's still, because it's a bit sweeter, and it doesn't matter if it's a little bit brown and a bit mushy, which might not be that palatable to look at, but they do taste quite good if you just put them in a blender.
Definitely.
So I wouldn't really waste a banana.
No.
I don't waste potatoes either, actually. I mean,
but don't you find people they're throwing them out because they're looking at the date, the sell-by date or the best before date, and that's what they judge everything on, not how it smells, how it looks, how it feels.
We've been really, I mentioned this on the programme before, but we've been really quite good this year, since the beginning of the new year. I mean, more more on top of what we have in the house and what we need to buy and what we don't need to buy. And as of this year, I've hardly thrown anything away because we've seen what we have in the house, whether it's rice, pasta, or what vegetables and things we have, chickpeas, all that kind of stuff. And we decide, and when we know we're going to be in, or when we've got social arrangements or whatever. And when I do the weekly shop, we've planned what we're going to have each day and what we need to buy. And I don't buy anything extra. I don't go, oh, those strawberries look nice, and we haven't had melon for a while, that'd be nice, and start buying loads of stuff that I might have done before that ends up not being eaten and having the guilt of throwing it away. Really, if you just buy what you need.
Do you have special glasses that are blinkering you from watching what's on either side?
No, I just hear my husband in my ear going, don't buy anything that's not on the list, don't buy anything that's not on the
That's a good way of doing it, though, is always have a list and only tick off what's on the list.
Absolutely.
What I go to the shops most days. So if I'm having salad, I'll go and buy it in the morning. So after my coffee walk, I'll go smash out and I'll get bits like salad and vegetables. So I'm kind of.
So you're not doing a big weekly shop.
I might for like kitchen roll and washing powder and that sort of stuff. But most food, I'll go to the little shops and get bits for the day, even for like the kids' tea or my lunch at home or whatever. So I'm kind of. I know it's really old fashioned, but it's just I quite like it actually.
That's probably why.
There's no waste.
In previous years, things have not been thrown out because everyone did a shop like that. Yeah. It was a daily shop. Whereas now, people, for convenience, buy such a lot.
Online as well, don't they? They do a big shop online and then they don't realise they don't eat it.
Yeah, and also all those offers of 3 for 2.
Yes, so tempting.
And then you spend ages trying to put it all together, and then you realise you've got actually
75 sausages
you didn't really want.
You're never going to eat them.
Coming back to bananas, though, I think bananas are really difficult. I personally don't like bananas, but I got a little sort of prong thing to hang them on.
Yeah. They're very antisocial. They can't go in the bowl, can they?
No, they can't, because they mess up everything else. So they have to stay there on this sort of prong thing.
Yeah.
And then, there's this tiny window. It's like your avocado.
It's the
same thing when a banana is actually, I think, nice, or when he likes them and then they go over. But was it Nigella Lawson? The domestic goddess, yes. She was always saying that they watched the bananas and they would wait until they were just on the turn, and then she would make this amazing cake.
Oh, banana bread.
Banana bread.
Really good.
It's better when they are right.
It is.
Because as you say, they're sweeter then.
It's true for I love a banana bread.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I made a few in COVID. Everyone got into banana breads during COVID, didn't they?
Yeah, literally
really
every day.
good.
They went in about 5 seconds.
Yeah, I tried so many different recipes as well because I was in the zone of thinking, okay, banana bread, it's fruit, it's good for you. Yeah. So I didn't want to have loads of sugar and really, so I was trying to do healthy banana breads, but it's nice with a bit of sweetener in.
Mine was Hummingbird Bakery was the best one in COVID.
Lovely.
That's the one that I discovered. It was brilliant.
Okay, I'll look it up.
Try that one.
I will, thank you. And one other on food, there's another one, but it's slightly different vein. So this is, I thought this was bizarre. A full English is viewed by many as an occasional treat, with all those carbs and fats too unhealthy for most mornings. But now scientists claim a fry-up can be more nutritious than fashionable breakfasts such as granola and fruity yogurts. A plate of eggs, sausages, bacon and beans is bursting with protein, vitamins and nutrients, keeping you full for longer, and it's good for your brain. Meanwhile, many so-called healthy, low-fat or organic breakfast options are commonly packed with sugar, corn syrup and fruit juice concentrate.
Read the ingredients.
Yeah, I know with a lot of these so-called healthy muesli bars and things like that, some of them are really
packed with sugar.
Really
they say low fat, but so you don't bother then to look at the sugar or the carbohydrate content, or they say low sugar and they're full of fat.
Yeah,
I mean, eggs are good for breakfast. You can't really go wrong with eggs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would say that's better than having a big bowl of refined sugar and stuffed in some granola. Do you know what I mean? I would say eggs and bacon, probably not so much.
But they grill it now, though, don't they?
I mean, if when you cook it and all the water comes out, all that white stuff, I think that can't be right.
No.
It tastes good, though, but...
Mary's like, ugh.
Yeah, but
I don't eat meat.
That's because it's been impregnated with water. It doesn't have to be like that if you get
the good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, all these things, it can make a difference where you get it from, but it's not always easy. Particularly bacon, that's kind of easy to just pick up from the supermarket, isn't
you
it?
can't tell it's got water in it, the same as a lot of the fish and the chicken. and they just pump it up, don't they? So when you feel it, sometimes it's a bit squishy. In the skin.
Oh, yes, not nice. But eggs, love eggs.
Eggs and salmon.
I could quite, I mean, I don't and I wouldn't, but I could quite happily have eggs every morning.
Yeah.
Eggs and
I've
salmon.
gone through the whole how they're made and how they're produced and how the chicken does what it does to produce it. And honestly, it is a miracle. It is a complete miracle to me. I mean, these poor little chickens that I rescued, with no feathers or anything, but still producing the most brilliant eggs, and all winter and during the snow, and they are a miracle food. I mean, they have absolutely everything in them.
Yeah.
And the way they're produced and made, well, with love. I think chickens are incredible. Really highly, highly underrated creatures.
Yeah. Oh, it's lovely. And they've really become part of your family, haven't they?
Totally.
And they're not just egg layers, they're your family.
No, they have names.
Oh, yes.
Unfortunately, now in the UK, if anybody's sort of followed the news, there is a widespread issue with avian flu.
Oh, yes.
Which means that all of the chickens are in what we call flock down, which is,
That's brilliant.
They have to be covered sort of in an area that wild birds can't get involved with them or poo on them or anything like that.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
There's one case of human.
Yes,
flu,
and a human
there?
transmission of it in one case. Apparently incredibly rare. But still.
Oh. But yes, yogurt as well, particularly flavoured yogurts, can be full of sugar and not good at all. And we're led to believe they're great to give children and things in lunchbox, but definitely check the ingredients. Not great. Okay, we better take a break.
Hannah Murray on TRE in the afternoon.
Good afternoon. You are listening to Women Talk with me in the studio, Nikki Broom, Mary Harbo and Sandra Mole. Now, this one, possibly a bit controversial, so need to be a little bit delicate, but I think I might be triggered by the word trigger. So this article is talking about calorie labels that they do on some restaurant menus. And the article says that is triggering for those with eating disorders. Such information leads to problematic thoughts for sufferers, while others avoid restaurants altogether. They're saying that the measures don't help anyone and can worsen feelings of anxiety and stress in those who are vulnerable.
Absolutely. We had that issue at the restaurant. There was a time when all restaurants were supposed to put on how many calories were in each section of the meal. And everyone complained. They said, we come here to be indulgent, not to have a conscience.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
You don't want to see it in a restaurant setting. You're going to go and have a nice meal.
Yeah.
You don't want to go there and be and if somebody is a bit kind of vulnerable to that affecting what they're going to choose, you just don't need it. So it's unnecessary.
We all know what's good for us and what's not bad for us. Whether we choose to eat it or not, it's a different thing. But,
You don't need to be told that, do you?
No, and I there's so many articles and things that come up at the moment with trigger warnings, and I understand the value and the importance of them in certain contexts. But I also feel it's a little bit, like a lot of these things, a little bit overused, that we need to be protecting everybody.
You mean woke?
Yes.
It's a bit wokey.
Protecting everybody at all times from ever possibly offending anyone.
Yeah.
But it only tells you the calories. Some calories are good for us. It's not the constituents of the meal.
Definitely. There's lots of information that they put on. I think it's more important that they have to say whether there's nuts and all that kind of stuff, because and gluten and things like that. That's really important. But
we've been asked that quite a lot recently in all the restaurants we went to about our nut allergies. Not that we have them, but, whether we have a nut allergy. And as soon as we come in, the Metro D is asking that now, especially in England.
Yeah. I think because people have died, haven't they? Children and stuff, so it becomes quite a serious...
They have to cover themselves,
And also, that is quite serious. If somebody has a serious nut allergy, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
So I suppose they just want to make sure...
It's just a trace, isn't it? That's all that's necessary.
Have you ever had that on planes?
I was just going to say, yes.
I think that's really... I get really upset with that, because I often travel with nuts, because there's so few things that I could actually eat
Yes.
that are prepared because of not wanting the dairy and being the gluten-free and being all the boring vegan and what have you, the rest of it. And so, nuts is a main protein. And if you're on a long flight and, got a handful of nuts there, you were okay. And then suddenly they're told, please, nobody with nuts, could have a pretzel or something instead, because somebody actually really would have a problem on the plane.
Yeah. That's tricky, but you can't have the pretzel because it's got gluten
exactly.
in it. Yeah, so do you...
Exactly, my point, exactly.
What do you do then? I suppose there's nothing...
You can't, really.
No. Do you eat crisps?
Yeah, you can have crisps, yes.
Yeah, maybe a few crisps.
Few crisps.
Yeah.
There we go.
I think the nuts are better for you, aren't they?
I think they are.
Yeah.
But not if somebody dies.
No. But make it a balance. It's a balance. Okay, on to relationships and dating and things. Forget cheesy one-liners or playing hard to get. The best way to flirt is asking for help, according to a study. Researchers discovered that requesting assistance can indicate romantic interest and attract a partner. See, I saw that and I thought, is that the whole kind of female in distress?
Oh, damsel in distress.
Exactly,
Yeah,
damsel in distress. Oh, can you help me, please? And him feeling like a hero coming along, and that's what I kind of thought from that.
Yeah, I think I agree.
But I don't know why you'd play at it.
Well, maybe that is more empowering if you know you're playing.
Yeah. I just either you need help or you don't. If I didn't need help, I'd prefer to do it on my own. But if I did need help, maybe I might batter my eyelashes in some circumstances, if that helps. I don't know.
I think this was from a Chinese university. So maybe it's a cultural thing.
Yeah, it is from Chinese research, yeah. The only time I've really asked for advice was when I burst my tyre, and I could quite easily change it, but I was dressed in white, so I did the damsel in distress on the motorway.
Yes, exactly.
But then I was trying to guide them to say, no, this is how you should be doing it.
You showed them how to do it, but
I didn't get dirty.
No, exactly. Well done, you. Okay. This is a fascinating one. Conventional wisdom has it that women are attracted to older male partners, perhaps because they are considered wiser or wealthier. But a survey reveals that such age-old preferences may be wide off the mark these days, though females don't necessarily realise it. Analysis found that both men and women say they were more attracted to partners who were actually younger than them.
The interesting thing about that is that there were older women. I think younger women look towards older men because they're more mature at that age. But as the women get older, they want their younger men.
Yes.
Because I think they're all in their 40s, weren't they, in that research?
Yeah, I don't see it yet. I mean, obviously I'm happily married, so I'm not looking for another man of any age. But I wouldn't be attracted to a younger man.
Oh, no way. No, neither would I. No interest whatsoever. It wouldn't be... just doesn't appear... It's not... I think majority of women... like more mature men. I think, but
I have got or heard or seen friends in their 40s and 50s who are excited about a younger man.
But it's not about talking to them.
No. They're not looking for intellectual stimulation. No.
But it's funny because in society it's still shocking, though, isn't it, to see an older woman with a younger man.
Yeah, there's still a taboo, isn't there?
I was thinking about, when you read the article, and I was thinking about the president of France, Emmanuel Macron, and his former teacher, 24 years older than him as his wife. And she was mistaken for being Jill Biden at one of these events. That was really... awkward.
And embarrassing. Yeah, it is a strange one. It did look a bit
funny when you saw them visually as well, though, didn't it? It just didn't. He obviously had some sort of teacher thing.
Why do we think that when it's an older woman with a younger man and not the reverse? We never bat an eyelid when it's the reverse,
and it's
normal,
much more normal. Yeah, and you'd assume that there's. I don't know. I feel like I can understand what's in it for both parties. Why someone, male or female, would be interested in a younger person, and why a younger person would be interested in an older person. I can kind of understand both points of view. It doesn't sound crazy, either of them. It's just personal opinion, I think.
Yeah.
I was just watching a documentary on Agatha Christie last night, and her husband was 14 years younger than her. She met him when she was 39, he was 25, and they remained married for 46 years until the end of her life.
Wow.
It depends on the person, doesn't it, and how you relate to
Absolutely.
them.
Definitely. I don't see that age is an issue either in friendships or relationships. You know, it's about the two people and what brings them together.
Yeah,
and,
I agree.
Well, we have young 40-year-olds and old 40-year-olds, don't we?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And or even 20-year-olds, young 20-year-olds and old 20-year-olds.
Yeah.
You know, you can tell people who are really wise and older than their years, and people who are in their 50s and ridiculously immature, who could easily be 17. You know,
and they're all men.
Yeah, no women, obviously. Oh, brilliant. We better take another break.
Hannah Murray. TRE in the afternoon.
Good afternoon. You are listening to Women Talk. With me in the studio today, Nikki Broom, Mary Harbo and Sandra Mole. A bit of a interesting subject this, just to let you know, if you have young children in the car, you might not want to listen to this bit. We're talking about a deep fake porn video that Geordie Shore star Vicky Patterson has made. I think it's been on television, has it? I'm not sure. It's on Channel 4. I'm not sure that it's been out or not. But it was a really fascinating experiment that she wanted to do. She'd done a lot of research on this and how horrendous it is that young people or anybody, because of AI, can and are making not only photographs but also videos showing with somebody's head but someone else's body. And it looks like them. So young people being sent photos of their mates naked, and they're not naked, it's AI, but it's their face. So awful things happening with young kids at school. But the step further than that is movement. So she's actually she hasn't made a sex tape. She has got a sex tape made using her face to show how easy it is to do. And she said it was really shocking and scary to see. She's been criticised by some people who actually had sex tapes made and shared and were shamed for it. And yeah, I just wondered your thoughts. Do you think she's mad? Do you think it's a weird thing to do? Or do you appreciate where she's coming from and it's a good statement to make?
I think it's quite interesting what her motivation to do this was, because if it was altruistic and really thinking about drawing attention to something which is a huge problem, or whether she was actually looking for publicity herself, because she is a reality TV star, she is an influencer, she's looking for material, going someplace which perhaps hadn't been gone to before, and then saying, you know, I really didn't like it very much and I'm a bit shocked and it upset me and it upset my marriage, and being honest in that way. But, you know, I mean, one tends to think, well, why would you do it?
I think it's very powerful, actually, because I think we're talking about it, you know, people that are all different ages, and so even though her motivation might have been PR stunt, it might have been because she wants to highlight a message, but either way, if it gets in the press, and I've got two, you know, teenage kids, and it highlights the dangers AI is just unbelievably dangerous. And I've watched programs in the UK as well, and the footage that you see of people, it is so realistic to the point where you wouldn't even doubt it.
Yeah.
And young, you know, teenagers, 16-year-old girls, whatever, like in my kids, and the damage that can be done by this. And I think what this highlights that people should take from it is there has to be some sort of legislation around this, because at the moment it's just completely, it's like the Wild West.
Yeah.
And as AI develops, and it will only get more and more because it's tech, it's just going to it has to be taken more seriously, I think, by governments, because it's literally getting out of control. Even I saw a thing on the news in England, a woman had got scammed out of thousands and thousands of pounds. And the woman, this lady, she was an older lady, a lecturer, very bright, and she thought it was a girlfriend working on an oil rig, sending her videos to prove that it was her, and it wasn't. It was a girl's face from Scandinavia, somebody else's. But I mean, it was, and the videos were like, you would not doubt it. And if this exercise, I think it's a bit crass, possibly a bit vulgar. You know, she's married, she's obviously doing it, but it has done the job of getting attention to it, because it just highlights how realistic it is. and how dangerous it is. And actually, so it really needs to be legislated against properly, I think.
And she is campaigning for that. I saw an interview that she did on BBC Radio 2, I think it was, and the interviewer said to her, you know, what would you say to all these people who have criticised you and have said, oh, you know, you're doing it for publicity, or, you know, why did you want to do this, and it's not fair on real victims, and those kind of questions. And she, you know, made a lot of points that you said. You know, she wants people to discuss it, she wants people to realise how serious this is, and thinks that, you know, legislation should be put in place so people can't produce these kind of videos. And
I think when she started, though, it wasn't altruistic at all. I think it was purely PR for her at the time. But in the course of that, she's got a shock at how awful it was. She didn't realise that. And that's, as you're saying, Nikki, it's what happens with people. You know, you experiment, you try these things because you don't really know what the outcome's going to be. And she's got a shock, which is why we're able to talk about it now and hopefully do something about it.
Yeah, and she said also that both her and the production team, before they produced this, they spoke to a lot of victims and asked their opinion on it and asked what it was like and got advice as well. So it wasn't like they went off on their own and weren't considering real victims of this. It was a real collaborative effort. So I wouldn't do it myself, but I kind of think good for her because people are talking about it. For sure, she's got some publicity from it because she is a publicity.
Just to lighten it, did you read the bit about she put her husband into the app?
Oh, yes.
And it gave him boobs and a whatever, I don't know. But that just also goes to show it's completely aimed at women's bodies. You know, if it takes a man and doesn't know, and automatically makes it into a woman's body, then it's actually, you know, more damaging for women.
Yeah.
It didn't know how to replicate a male body.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
It was
so that's
literally
also
aimed at women.
another part of it.
Yeah, scary. Okay. I'm reading an article here. This is not me speaking. I came home
Tell me, please.
Yes, so am I, let me tell you. I came home to find my husband in a blonde wig, heels, a tight dress and scarlet lipstick. Here's what it's really like to be married to a cross-dresser. So the article goes on and she says, I felt angry that he'd hidden his fetish from me until after we were married. Would I have said yes if I'd known? Well, I'm thinking probably not. And I just wondered about secrets like this. You know, we may have secrets, we may not have secrets, we may feel going into marriage there shouldn't be any secrets, we may feel, well, we all have a past, they don't need to know everything. You know, there's different views on this, but I think a secret like that is quite a big thing.
It's quite a big one. I mean,
it's quite a big thing, and there'll be people out there that would be perfectly happy with that and maybe even excited that their husband did this, and the husband needs to find someone like that and marry them.
But maybe, maybe he wasn't a cross-dresser when they married, because that is something that can also develop later.
Interesting point.
He was, though. He said he'd been doing it since he was a teenager. But I think the problem with this is, he should have been honest with her, because now she's stuck in a marriage that she's bought into something, and she didn't know her husband asked one of the things that he wanted and needed to do. So I think that's not very fair. If that's such an integral part of his character and what he likes to do for whatever reason, fine, do it, but then don't involve somebody else in it into a marriage scenario without saying, look, this is who I am, this is what I do. If you want to leave, fine. If you don't mind, also fine. But I need to share this with you, which is you're going into a marriage with not complete honesty and transparency.
And you'd think the kind of thing should be discussed when you're dating. You know, when you first get together.
Do you want kids? Do you wear stilettos? Do you have any wigs?
I don't mean straight away, but you know, in the joys of the first few months, when theoretically you're intimate more regularly, let's say, could be a common theme that happens with some relationships. You know, people normally talk about what they like and what they don't like, and you know, fantasies and all that kind of stuff.
Can you imagine the shock walking home from work?
Exactly.
Open the door. Your 6-foot husband stood there in a miniskirt and red lipstick. You'd be like, what the hell?
Yeah, the big reveal. I mean, he should have broken it to her gently, a little bit, a little bit of a wig. And
how did he keep everything secret, and where did he hide all his cross-dressing equipment?
Goodness knows.
Maybe they were hers, and that would make me angry.
When he said I could tell he wanted me to say that he looked good. I'd be like, get out!
Get my shoes off.
Find the door and go. Sling your hook.
Oh, it would be such a horrendous shock, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That's the thing. I think that's the
I'd be
mistake
angry. I
too.
would be angry.
Because we were talking about this. We were talking about. I mean, there are some men who are in the public eye who are transvestites, who like to cross-dress.
Yeah.
Like a huge fan of
Eddie Izzard.
That's the one we were talking
Yes,
about.
love him.
And Grayson Perry. Grayson Perry is happily married. Philippa, his wife, is lovely. They're both incredibly creative. And when he turns up, sort of with his wig on and his little sort of Mary Jane shoes with the buckle on the side, and with his, somehow he can carry it off.
Yeah.
And she's at his side, and that is it. And they have children, and everybody's there, and it's
everyone's
happy.
happy.
Exactly.
I think it's how you tell someone. The fact that she wasn't told is the shock, and that's the horrid part of it.
Yeah, the disrespect.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Because it's such a big thing. I think it is. It's unlikely that many women, I think, in that situation would go, "Oh my goodness, I didn't know you like that. What fun!" Exactly. Why don't we go out? You dress like that. I'll put my dress and heels on, and we'll go do lunch. I mean, it's that's very unlikely.
Seriously, can you imagine if that happened to us? You'd just be like, you would rock your world. It would really destabilise your marriage.
Totally.
Well, he didn't give her a chance to be able to deal with it.
No.
At all,
Oh, horrible.
He should have started off by
Horrible
saying,
visions.
Do you like Grayson Perry? Do you like Eddie Izzard? Do you think they're really quite talented?
It happened to me, not a husband or anything, but I was sharing. I had a hairdresser living with me, and when I came on one night, he had my clothes on and my makeup on. I was fuming because he did look better than me in them.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, isn't it? Some men can really carry it off and have great legs and look fabulous in heels. Okay. We better take the last ad break before we tackle the subject that we put a poll on Facebook. Is it okay for mums to have a favourite child?
Hannah Murray, TRE in the afternoon.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the last part of today's Women Talk with Nikki Broom, Mary Harbo and Sandra Mole. So this was the poll that we put on Facebook earlier today. It's also the headline for one of the articles. Is it okay for mums to have a favourite child? 92% of the people answering the poll said no. This article says, admitting you have a favourite child can feel like committing a crime against motherhood. It's the ultimate parenting taboo. But as humans, we're fundamentally predisposed to lean towards people whose behaviour we find most appealing. In any other familiar relationship, it's okay to have a favourite. Many of us would admit that we're closer to one parent over another, or have a better relationship with a particular sibling or grandparent. But when it comes to the mother and child relationship, a woman is expected to switch off that very normal response.
I've got two kids, obviously, but I don't think it is a normal response to have a favourite child. I think your kids, my kids, most people's kids are generally very different, and one will have some great traits and some really horrible, annoying traits, and then the other kid might be completely polar opposite, but also have good traits and bad traits. So I don't think, for me personally, I do not favour either of my kids, and they're both, they're both extremely different.
Yeah.
So I don't think it is a normal response as a mother, in my experience, because you kind of go, they're both individual people. They've both got their own ways of being challenging, being good, being loving, being whatever, and you love them for who they are. You might not like them at various times, because you don't always like your kids, to be honest, and a lot of mothers won't say that, but I will.
It's interesting. I'm not a mother at all, and I would think it would be okay to have a favourite, but not to treat them differently.
No, and maybe not to say it to them, because if your child knows that you're not their favourite and that you prefer the other one, I mean, that can damage them for their whole life.
Yeah, I mean, I know people who's clearly a favourite in a family, and there's generally a boy, and I'm not being sexist when I say that. It generally isn't the one people I know. And their sisters grew up being sort of secondary. Oh, the boy gets this, the boy gets that, and the girls didn't. And it does have long-lasting effects. And that just, I don't think that's fair.
Yeah, I have a boy and a girl, and I've done exactly the opposite. I've always made it I've always teased them. I always say to you, you're my favourite. Nah, you're my favourite. I've always loved you more. And it's just a family joke.
Yes.
So. I mean, with the cards on the table, I mean, they're completely different as well.
Yeah.
You love them exactly the same, but you don't always like them exactly the same. And I think it's the same, looking down the next generation at the grandchildren too. Sometimes they're not always likable. You love them to bits.
Yeah.
You do anything for them, but sometimes you think, oh, please,
Yeah.
Go home.
But I mean, there will be situations where if parents have two children, there obviously are situations where one of them is really well behaved, really polite and loving and a great kid, and the other one is a nightmare and is constantly playing up and arguing and being rude and horrible to be around. I mean, those situations will happen.
But then you have to look at why that's happening, though. Maybe it's because the nice one is the favourite and the other one's like, I know they're the favourite, and so I'm going to get negative attention. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's. I think your kids are baseline probably pretty nice, and you kind of just get. But what she says in the article is one's my favourite one day, but like you were saying, one's my favourite the next day. That's not really having a favourite, is it?
No.
Because sometimes with my kids, like my daughter, go, he's obviously the favourite. He gets this, and you'll go, hang on, you got this, and this, and you go, okay, all right. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, and they do play off against each other. But I have seen people who really favourite one child, and I just think I think it's fundamentally wrong because it has effects. Long-lasting effects on the other sibling.
Definitely.
You have a boy and a girl, and I have a boy and a girl too. Where I think it's quite easy to say they're different, but I do wonder, if you had twins,
two girls,
or you have all of the same gender, you have a whole load of one gender, as it were.
You'll notice more.
You compare them more a little bit with. Against each other. I don't know because it's not a scenario I've been experiencing, but I think it's more likely.
Yeah, because I've got a brother and a sister, so 2 girls, 1 boy, and everybody likes me more. Obviously. I'm joking. No, joke.
But no, I can see that would make sense if you had Colleen Rooney, for example, who's got 4 boys. Yeah, so there'll be some that will be better at sport than others, some that will be more academic than others, some that will be more polite than, they will, and it would be harder to not compare because you haven't got the well, you're a boy, well, you're a girl thing.
And they've all got names beginning with K, which is really confusing as well. Confusing.
Confusing with the K. Yes. So if people do have a favourite, I think the worst thing would be to share that. Like in a serious way, you're my favourite because you're a nightmare type scenario.
I don't think you always have to say it. Say it though. I think it comes out in how you react to them and the way you behave towards them.
In an argument, you're my favourite. You're not.
If you would.
It's quite subtle the way you would do that.
Yeah, I suppose.
It could be very manipulative and very unpleasant.
Yeah.
And actually very damaging.
Toxic.
For sure. Just not nice.
No.
Be nice to your kids. Okay. This is a piece called Things That Millennials Refuse to Buy, which kind of comes out every so often. And it's fascinating to look at to see how young people are potentially different to us and how we grew up. So one of the things that they say, that millennials would say, is bulk groceries are a waste of money, which is fascinating because we started kind of with that topic. Although their parents' house might be fully stocked with groceries at all time, a millennial's pantry and fridges might look a little different. Many aren't tempted to buy groceries in bulk. They're only shopping and cooking for themselves, so why do they need 2 weeks' worth of groceries that will likely expire? Millennials prefer to buy things when they actually need them.
They usually go to the parents and raid their cupboards.
Yes.
Or Deliveroo. They just order in like that. My kids do that, and you just like because everything's so accessible.
And instant.
I want this. I want sushi. Is there? I want this. Is there? So it's a different view on food.
Yeah.
Also, I think people don't have as much storage space. I mean, I grew up in the countryside, and there was a larder. There was a room where you stored things for the future. But people haven't got larders anymore. No. They've got a tiny cupboard at the most to put anything in.
Yeah.
Well, I think we are sort of learning from young people in that respect then, because if we are buying less food, like I've been doing, and you said you do, Nikki, as well, and buying when you need it, then you are throwing less away. So, I mean, I do love seeing a full fridge, but at the same time, when I have got a full fridge, it's highly likely that things will end up being thrown away.
And it's a bit of pressure too, isn't it?
Yes. Exactly. And then if you get a last minute invite for someone's birthday, it's like, no, we were supposed to eat that tonight. It ruins your plans completely, last minute stuff.
I wonder if the younger generation are doing that because they're being more environmentally friendly in terms of waste.
Possibly.
Or they're just...
They don't have
lazy
enough money, maybe.
They can't bother doing a big shop, or they're financially less well off. I mean, I wonder what the drivers are.
Probably a mixture of all.
Yeah.
We've got 1 minute left. Wine with corks is an inconvenience. Us old-fashioned, we might think that wine with corks is better and wine with a screw top isn't so good, but younger people say wine with screw tops are better and easier.
Yeah,
well, they are easier.
They are.
I don't like them though.
No,
do you
I think if you get a bottle of wine, you unscrew it.
I love that pop.
I like to get a bottle opener, and it feels like you're having a glass of wine. Yeah. It just feels so weird, like a bottle of water if you're unscrewing it.
I used to think that, but now I'm so used to it, I don't notice the difference. There are some wines I like that are a screw top and some that are a cork, and I don't think about the difference.
I just
on the wine.
Exactly.
I dread the day champagne comes with a screw top.
Oh, goodness.
No, it's never going to happen.
Imagine.
The French should never do that.
No,
just the British.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that is it for today's show. Thank you all very much for coming in, ladies. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Sandra.
Thank you, Hannah.
Howard Brereton is next with Spain today, so don't go away. I will be back on Monday at 4, so have a great weekend.
You've been listening to a TRE production. If you've enjoyed this programme, there'll be another episode waiting for you next week, right here on this platform, where you can also access our extensive back catalogue of shows and interviews. For more information on our live programming, social media channels and apps, and how to contact Talk Radio Europe, please visit tre.radio.